The Bear Season 2 was recently released, and what a season of a show it was. It was just perfect. After watching the second season, I was thinking about it, and I couldn't help but shake the fact that Carmy was a character that I found so interesting to watch. This was due to him being an extremely unique individual, so much so that I thought it was definitely worth taking a deeper look inside of his mind and trying to understand why he is the way that he is in the present day. His past, his trauma, his passion, his family, and his career all contribute to the individual that we saw in Season 2. So let's crack on. Here is a look inside the mind of Carmen. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The impact of Donna's mental health condition and alcoholism. Carmy's mother is a character that we've heard a lot of over the course of the entirety of the show, but it was in Season 2 Episode 6 where we got our first glimpse of her and the true understanding of the type of individual that she was. It was clear to see that Donna has had an astounding effect on Carmy's personality, mindset, and emotional well-being, and she contributed to a lot of the reason as to why he acts the way that he does in the present day. Donna has some kind of mental health condition. We don't entirely know what it is, but it seems as though her way of dealing with it is by consuming alcohol, and I would predict that she's most likely a functioning alcoholic, especially judging by the way that she was in Episode 6. She always had a glass of wine in her hand, and there were several empty bottles that were on the side being taken out, so it showed that she was almost self-medicating. This in turn led her down a darker pathway of feeling as though she wasn't appreciated by anybody in the family, and it seemed as though Carmen was the only person that was there that was able to comfort her in her darkest time. Nobody else was able to do it. Mikey wasn't, and nor was Sugar, as Donna would just get frustrated, which is exactly what we saw during the climax, which makes me think that he had to bear the brunt of a lot of her issues in the past. If you think about it, he was away for most of the year for several years due to focusing on his career. He would only come back once a year, and we heard that Donna had to beg him to return, which showed that Carmy knew that when he went home, he most likely had to feel the weight and deal with the brunt of his mother's issues and the behavior that she has, which is something that he most probably struggled to handle. Hence why even in the present day she's not in the picture, because he knows that it may just end up causing more problems than it does good, and it could unlock a darker side within him. We got one glimpse into the type of relationship that he had with his mother in one episode, and it was heavy. Now if we imagine that Carmy has been putting up with that for the majority of his life, before going off to train to be a chef at around the age of 20, he had a long time dealing with that, so it's definitely rubbed off on him. Hence why even in the closing moments of Season 2, we saw that he was exhibiting some behaviors like how Donna did, telling himself that he was dumb, how he was worthless, thinking of negative thoughts and saying how he didn't deserve anything good, kind of similar to how Donna was acting in Episode 6. However, on this occasion, he had nobody to comfort him like his mother had him. It's something that he's definitely got from his mother, and the outburst that he had right at the end towards Richie was very telling of that, so it's most definitely safe to say that his mother and her behavior has had a massive effect on his life and the mindset that he exhibits. His obsession with work and how it impacted his life. Carmen is an obsessed individual. He has an obsessive personality, and it's like nobody else in the show. After being declined the possibility of working at his brother's sandwich shop and ultimately going off to learn to be a top-tier chef, that was where I imagine a big change came in Carmen's life, and the person that we saw in the present day started to be formed. Within this season, we saw that he was undergoing the biggest project that he had ever worked on with opening the restaurant, and it was a do-or-die kind of project, where if he didn't give it his 100%, then there was a chance that he could fail. Due to his usually apparent obsessive personality, this wouldn't be an issue, but in Season 2 there was a distraction, and the obsessive nature that he had was pushed to the side. This was because he found himself getting caught up in a relationship with love interest Claire, something that we hadn't seen the character go through before. He was obsessed with cooking, he was a master at it, and he always strived to be the best, as we heard when Will Portner's character mentioned how he thought that he was originally the best, and then he met Carmy and realized that he'd never be as good. Carmy spends all day cooking, and goes home to his apartment which has no decorations or even color, nor shows any signs of interests or hobbies, and proceeds to continue cooking. It's something that he's obsessed with, but due to Claire, his eye was taken off of what he usually focused on, and in his opinion he let himself down, hence the reason why he was almost punishing himself when he was locked in the refrigerator. The broken refrigerator handle was the symbol of distraction. The small issue that he had to resolve, which required minimum effort, was the very thing that came back and ruined the night for him, showing that he wasn't as focused as he once was. The negative treatment and abuse from his former boss when he was a chef in New York is something that, along with the explosive nature of his mother, has paved the pathway and behaviors that he's taken into his own life. However, despite the fact that the words that his boss used to say to him still land with impact and still hit him like blows in his mind when he thinks of them, he doesn't treat his own staff like that, and instead treats them with love, respect, and care, and like their family, as that's all he knows, family. So that's something that he learned from being in New York and had a positive impact on him, rather than a negative one. Being a chef gives him purpose and all of the happiness that he needs. I also feel that he believes that if he allows other things into his life, then it will prevent him from being the successful individual that he wants to be. So whilst the obsession can be a positive trait in terms of the fact that he has ultimately got to the top of his game because of it, it will eventually prevent him from progressing in other areas of his life. Carmen is an extremely complex individual that not only has a lot of underlying issues within his mind, but issues that it feels as though he's never really seeked out to try and solve. Whilst being extremely talented and successful in the career aspect of his life, and the death of his brother being something that brought him back home and strengthened his relationship with his sister, outside of the core circle that he has and the hustle of working, he's empty. And I think a lot of that stems from when he was younger. The fact that he wasn't close with his father, and also the fact that he had to spend his time comforting his mother. Season 3 of the show could go one of two ways for Carmen. I believe he's either going to continue on this descent into darkness and follow suit to how his mother did, which would not be good for him or any of the individuals around him, or he'll look to address what's going on inside of his head, realize that he is allowed a life outside of the work that he does, and also address the issues that he has with his mother, as that is the root cause of why he ultimately is the way that he is, everything that he had put on his shoulders throughout the early years. It's definitely going to be interesting. Him along with Richie are definitely the most interesting characters in the show, and I can't wait to see what comes of them. So, there you have it, a look inside the mind of Carmen. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think of Carmen? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.